Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining the Inphinity webinar today. Delighted to see you all and glad you could find time to join us. I'm joined today by two of my fantastic colleagues. I have 𝗦𝗽𝗰𝗴𝗡. 𝗦𝗽𝗰's in Sydney. Hey, say hi, 𝗦𝗽𝗰.
Hi, everyone. Pleasure to be here.
All right. And our Chief Product Officer, 𝗬𝗃𝗧𝗏. Say hi, Maria.
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me here.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. So thank you for joining today. Today, we're going to take you through a really cool use case with Infinity Forms on Qlik around section access. Now, section access, as we know, is a utility that lets you restrict the data that users can see inside a Qlik Sense application, but it can be kind of tricky if you do it either in the load script or with Excel. It can be quite difficult. So we decided to apply our kind of huge brains to this problem and come up with a really elegant way of doing this with Infinity Forms. So in a moment, I'm going to hand over to Guy and he can kind of take you through what we've developed. And just to mention, if you stay until the end, what we'll do is we'll also provide a link in the description below and you'll be able to get access to the app that Guy shows you, right? So you will be able to download it, put it into your own Qlik environments, and then actually use it to do section access for yourselves, which is hopefully a nice freebie from us. We'll also provide a link to how you can get our freemium licenses. So you can get Infinity Forms for free for a limited number of users, but you can use it for like forever. And we'll also provide a link to how you can get those freemium licenses as well. So if you're a Qlik developer and you've never used Infinity before, we can give you access to the tool and access to this app, and hopefully it will change your lives, which is what we want. That's what we try to do here at Infinity. So with that, I'm going to say if there are any questions that you want to actually ask, this is actually pre-recorded. So we're not sitting here immediately right now, but that's okay. Ask any questions because we will have a live person answering all of the Q&A in the chat window. So if you've got anything that you'd like to ask us, please do, and we'll actually write to you our answers immediately. So I'm just going to do one slide, and I know everyone knows how much I only like ever showing one slide. So let's just do a little bit about who are we? Who is Infinity? We are a specialist software company. We're based in Europe. I really need to update this slide because I think it's closer to 20 years, Maria, isn't it? We're kind of like way over 15 years now in terms of doing this. We are a spin-off from a Qlik master reseller based in Europe. We actually now have about 320 customers, and we have a global customer and partner network. And the software that we make, primarily we have for Infinity Forms, we have two other products, one called Infinity Flow, one called Infinity Mold, but we only make this software for Qlik. And so it's Qlik Sense on-premise or Qlik in the cloud, in Qlik Cloud. And we're very proud to be able to kind of help people build incredible solutions with what we do with our products. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to hand over to my great friend and colleague, 𝗦𝗽𝗰𝗴. And Guy, if you want to crack on with the demo, over to you.
Okay, so let's start. I'll share my screen, and I will start with an app here that maybe will be, some people will have some ideas about situations that they have in their companies. As we can see, we have here a planning app, and the goal is not to show the planning part, but it's also possible to see the power of what it's possible, because the goal here is to show the section access part, but with Infinity, we can do a lot of different things. So it's really up to you. Just be creative. And we are using this creativity here in the section access part. But if you don't know section access, you can control basically anything for the user. So if I click here, if I select the country field, let's say that I want to select Brazil, everything else in my dashboard related to that selection will be filtered. And then I'll be able to see the products related to that. And if I had more information, everything would be filtered according to my selections. And we can use section access to filter exactly that. And we can specify which users should be able to see what with some, let's say, fixed filters. Okay. It's not so easy. So some people hate it because if you do it wrong, you can mess up the application. People start to complain about not having access to the app, and then you don't know why. It's not so easy to troubleshoot. But with this solution, apparently it will be easier for you. Hopefully, if you start using it, it will make your life easier and you'll save time. So the idea is that, let me first show you what I'll do here. And the funny part is that Maria and Simon, they know what was built, but they didn't see the technical part, so they will probably ask a lot of questions, and feel free to ask here in the chat too, but it's on the fly. So first time they will see it. I created a separate user here.
No pressure, Guy.
Yeah, no pressure, Guy.
Okay.
So we're gonna challenge you hard on this one, my friend.
No problem.
I would just add one more thing, that it's a Qlik native thing, the section access, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Good point. Good point. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. So it's native. So it's something that you just write in your script. We'll see the details now. But just to explain how I will demonstrate that, I have here my admin user that has access to the script and everything else, and another user, so you can see how your users would see, like, what's the behavior that is expected. In this account, I have here a Gmail account, and as you can see, I have 2 users logged in here. If I start to change something on my first row, for example, here, let's say I'll just include a high number. The other users are not able to change anything until I click here in recalculate, and this will reload the app. In some seconds, all the other users will have access to the same information. So we'll see here a spike because I just changed that information. But let me go back just to show you that everything's working.
Guy, just to be clear, you can do that without reloading the app as well. You could just save the data, right? And then the other users will see it. You don't have to reload the app for other users to see that changed, correct?
True. If we use SSE, which is the server-side extension, or in Qlik Cloud is the Advanced Analytics Connections, it's possible to query the data directly from the charts without going through the data model, which means that you don't need to reload the app if you don't want to.
The Infinity forms will change and everyone will see it just on save, but it's the other objects, the Qlik objects, that you can change by using either reload or SSE or something like that, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. And why am I showing this first? Because as you can see, this is like a spreadsheet, and is one of our main goals is to replace spreadsheets and other kinds of systems that can be replaced by simple tables or things that need some automations and actions, and you can do everything, centralize it in Qlik. And many people control section access using spreadsheets. So one traditional way is to have something like this, a list of users and a list of, in this case, let's say country field.
I must admit, I did the same 8 years ago.
Maria, you don't look old enough to have done this 8 years ago.
Thank you.
And Guy, if you don't, just before you carry on, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you for a moment. Just to explain, if you're wondering why we're sitting between these broken chains, if you look really closely at the chains, you'll see that there are numbers that are inside cells like a spreadsheet. So for us, this means breaking the spreadsheet chain. And what we're trying to do, as Guy said, is help people stop using spreadsheets with Qlik and do it inside QlikSense instead, which is why breaking the spreadsheet chain is a big thing for us. And that's why we're sitting here inside broken chains. Anyway, Guy, back to you.
Let's break the spreadsheet chain. So a lot of people have done the same thing. Probably if you're here watching and you have gone through this, comment here and let us know how the experience was or how it is. But this is traditional. This is how people normally manage section access. You can add the country, which is I'm calling it target column. The user email in Qlik Cloud in on-premise is basically the same thing. But then you define in separate roles what are the countries allowed for that specific user. Okay, and then you need to upload this to Qlik, and just if you need to change something, you need to re-upload. If you miss the version, you're gonna mess up. If you break something, if you change the name of the field, you're gonna mess up. So it's kind of tricky. You need to be careful. So let me quickly show you the traditional way here in the script.
One situation from real life, when you have this as a shared Excel file on the server in the on-prem deployment, and a colleague deletes it by mistake.
I haven't gone through that, but it's probably not a good scenario. There are two ways to do that in the script. So the first one would be inline. If you have an inline table, you have a list of users, and here the country list. So here I'm logged in with my Gmail account. Now I will reload the app with friends for this user, and you will see that in some seconds, as the app reloads, everything here will be updated. So now this user can only see friends. I can even click here to see the list of countries, but I can only see friends because the section access from Qlik is preventing me from finding the other countries, okay? This is one way, inline. The other way would be loading the Excel file that we just saw. So if I uncomment this part, I have here the same file. If I want to change something, I need to save the file, bring it back to the folder, upload it. So it's not an easy process, right? Now let me go back and explain what we created here with Infinity. I have here in a separate tab something to show the steps that we did to create this app. So imagine that we have some just two apps in our tenant. Okay, just an example, and we will use the app name and the app ID. How can we get the app name and app ID? So using the Qlik API, it's possible. And I learned this with our technical team. They are fantastic.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining the Infinity webinar today. Delighted to see you all and glad you could find time to join us.
And we can use that in the dropdown for, in our app.
So Guy, that's really cool. So basically, you said earlier you make a selection of the space, so then you can only see the certain apps in that space, but you can then also, when you click the drop-down field in the Infinity form, you can see all the fields for those apps in that space.
That's right. And a good thing
in the app, not in the space, but in the application.
Yep.
In the app, yeah.
And a
Very
good thing to mention here is that the drop-down is an infinity field, but it also works with set analysis. So we have here hidden the app ID is a hidden field, okay? And the list is basically a concat, and I can actually even show you here. I will duplicate the sheet so we can see in action. Let me
All
go to
technical
the
guys and ladies will appreciate it.
So in the container, let's go to the app list. We have the app ID here as the key field in our forms and is a hidden field. So if I click here, we'll see it. And using this field, we have here other dimensions, space name, app name, and published. But if I go to the right, my editable field is here in form configuration, and the name is reduction, okay? Just basically in the database. But it's a select box. If I go to more options, you will see that it's basically the list of fields, so the field name with a concat expression, but I'm using here the set analysis to just filter the app ID of that specific row. And this is how we refer to infinity fields. We use this as we call special variables. We can refer to things that are inside our object. In this case, the dim0 means app ID. So it will get basically that value specifically for each one of these rows. And that's how we can see the list of each one of these apps individually.
I'm really glad you opened the expression editor, because in some cases, actually in pretty many cases, in applications there are fields that are there in the data model, but you don't want them to be used as reduction field in section access, right? So you can use set expression to remove those fields from the select box and ensure that in the select box in the drop-down menu, only the fields that are supposed to be used for reduction are visible for administrator, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Good point. Good point, Maria. For those who are starting with Infinity now, just to show you how we get this reference here, row.dim0. If you go to column order here, this part, you have the list of fields. And then if you open the fields, if they are from the data model, you'll see the reference with dim to refer as dimension, in this case 0. And you can copy this formula reference and use it in your expressions. But if it's an infinity field, it will be row dot the name of the field. Okay. Now, let's go back here. Let me 1 second. One more thing that you can do is to open the app. So if you want, this is an action button from Infinity. If I click here, it will take me to the app. It will open in a new tab. So you can maybe check the fields that you need to, or the values inside that field, or just check the app in general to see how it's now, if it's working or not. But going back, now the next step is to filter this field here. And with a condition, if we have one possible field, one possible app selected, another tab here will be available. So I'll click here. Now I can go to the user list. And here I have all the users in my tenant. We don't have a lot in this one, but now this is another Infinity form. Okay, actually, technically is the same, but if you check the script, you can see how we did it. But basically, it's the same form. You just need one single form. But here we have the list of users. If you want to enable that user for that app or not, the access type, if it's admin or user, and here you will describe the values, and you can use the semicolon as the delimiter. So you don't need to go row by row as we did here on the other example. So I have 3 rows for the same user. In that case, we are doing something like this: Brazil, France, and USA, because we use the subfield function in the script to break everything into different rows.
I would say this itself is a big improvement in comparison with this original approach.
Yeah, if you skip a row, you're already lost. So now using this, basically what it does is when I change something, it will store the values in a QVD. It will basically store a very similar table to this. Okay, very similar. But the difference is that in the target app, which means that the app where I want to apply or use the section access, we will use the app ID, which is the document name formula, as a reference in the where clause. So the 4th step here is to load the table in Qlik section access using the app ID with the where clause. So now let me show you in how this works. If I change my user, let's see here. This is my user. I will now change that to Australia. I will click here to reload this app. It will store, or just basically restore the QVD with the updated value. Now I will enable the section access in the webinar app, in this planning app here. So in the new section access, I will just uncomment this part here. I'm now loading this QVD. Okay, so that specific table, imagine that we are loading something like this. But the difference is that we'll load that only where the first part of the key is equal to the document name, which in this case is the app ID. Okay, so we'll load only that specific app. And well, the second part is more technical. If you want to go through the details, it's possible, but it will take more time to explain because we separate the same instance in two. But here we have the second part. And here we replace the name of the field with whatever we added here on the first place. So going back, if I said that the field that I want to load as a reduction field is country, this part here will replace the field name with country. So currently is a variable, but then we do everything as country like this. So it will match with the data, with the field from the data model and actually reduce it. So this is the first part. Here's the actual section access table. So a resident table. And after we do that, now let me open here. First we had friends. Now I already changed it here. If I reload the app, I should see only Australia, right? So let me show you that in a second. And
to make it clear, you need to reload the application to apply changes in section access, but it's also a Qlik native thing.
True. Yeah, it's not, in this case, the section access is part of the data model. So if you don't reload the app, it won't be updated. And here we have it updated. Now going back to the app, let's say that now we want to change something else, and everything can be controlled from this part here. We created also another button that will, if you create an automation, it will send the app ID that we have here to the automation as a parameter and reload that specific app. So in my user here, I want to load now Australia, USA, Brazil for this specific user, and also France. So I'll first reload the app to override the QVD. That's the first step. Nothing will happen here. Okay, so nothing changed. Now, after the QVD is saved, I can trigger the reload of this target app. Let's just wait some more seconds. Okay, it's concluded. Now this will trigger the automation. And in some seconds, I'm not doing anything now. I will just wait. I should see here. There we go. Now the 4 countries are available to my user.
Can I just mention as well, you can see there's now 3 icons, and if you hover over them, one of them is me. So I've also got this this application open now as well. And it was funny because I noticed that when you were changing the countries that my user was allowed to access, initially I only had access to France. And then you changed it to, to USA. Then you changed it, I think, to France and Australia, which is, I'm just going to double check what I've got now. Yeah, I've got France and Australia. So when you change it, what I see is it actually literally changes on the fly. My app doesn't even need to be updated or reloaded. It just changes. And then the data suddenly, I can't see one set of data and then suddenly I can see another set of data. And that was really impressive, the way that that happened. So yeah, it's very quick. It's very quick.
It's impressive, but
it's
one needs to be very thoughtful when doing that in production.
True, yeah. I'm just saying for effect, right? But I agree, in production, you want to be a little bit more careful than that. But yeah.
I have a tough question for you, Guy. So if we can come back to to this application and this exact sheet. So now you're typing names of the countries yourself, but that's also space for mistake, right? So how can I minimize this?
Well, there are some, we can be more creative. One of the options would be to bring this part here to the target app. Okay, and I did it in a separate app, but it would complicate a little the demonstrations. But if we take like a template and copy this part here, paste it in a separate sheet, only accessible to admins in this app here, in the target app. We can load all fields from the data model. We will already have all the fields from the data model loaded here. So we can choose directly on the sheet the list of fields that we want and all the values. Because otherwise here, the only way I could see to have like a drop-down list here would be to load everything from every app, which is not possible. Like it is possible, but it's not really feasible because you don't want to load all data from all apps, unless, and now I'm not sure if there is, an API to be queried directly so we can have here a list of fields for that specific ID. I don't know if this is possible, but it would be good if it was.
I'm not sure either. I'm more thinking about having a unified list of countries. So instead of collecting all data from multiple applications, if a company says this is our list of countries that we will use in all the applications, and it will be stored somewhere in data mart, in database, wherever, in QED on Qlik Cloud, and that would be the core whenever countries are used, it can be loaded here. And then instead of typing those countries, you could have a select box with allow multiple options enabled.
That's actually a great idea because normally the section access fields, they don't really change that much, right? So I don't need to know all fields for everything, all the values. That's actually a great point. So just to show the audience what we could do here in this sense, as you were saying, this is a text field, so I can type anything in here. But what you're saying is that we could do select box.
By the way, for the audience, about an hour ago, I said to Guy that whenever I say something like this, he doesn't need to do it on the fly. I didn't want to stress him.
But it's good so people will see how it's done, right? Because it's not so complicated. It's not so. So here we have a select box available, and we can separate the values with semicolons, which means that I can have here a string. It could be a list of countries like Brazil, semicolon France, semicolon USA, semicolon Australia, and hit apply. Now the other fields, and I also could add the star. I forgot the star, which is also a possible selection like this.
And star is all countries, right? Is that everything?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And now I can go here in Maria, your user, and pick Brazil, for example, or enable multiple selection, which I forgot to do. Going back here, allow multiple selection, and show all selected. So now you can see Brazil, France, and USA, for example. In this case, we would have to treat the data because by default it's separated with a comma, and the script is meant for semicolon, but it's just a small thing that we would have to adapt. But it's a good idea to have here like a default file with all possible values and fields.
And for less advanced developers like me, right, then what I would do is have the target application open, see the table which had the values or the dimensions that I want, find them, right-click, choose the select cell value, and then actually copy and paste it, right? So copy cell value and paste it. But that would avoid typing errors if you just want to capture the particular value, especially if you've got lots of different things. Your way is much better because you get a drop-down list inside this section access form and table. But if you're just doing like a small one-off change, you can always just do it that way that Guy just showed as well. So
one last thing to this particular enhancement. Guy entered the list of names manually, but you may notice that there was an option to define formula through expression editor. So you can generate this list also from a field coming from a data model. So you didn't need to do it specifically for this form and do it again in another form, or update it whenever a new country or new employee or something has been added to the table. It can be generated using Qlik concat function.
Nice.
Good point. And before we go to the other part, one thing to mention is that you need to load or to add the section access part in your target app. So you can't just basically come here, select an app, because if the app doesn't have that part of the code, the section access will not be applied. So you need to go there in the script, in the load editor, and add this piece here of code, which will do basically everything by itself, but you need to copy and paste. And this part here is also available in the load editor. If you go to the last part here, store table, this is where we store the QVD. And this is where you copy and paste the same thing in your target app. So use the code below in the target app, the app that will use section access, and change the connection names so it will make sense in your tenant. And I think that's the main thing.
I have a lot of ideas because I really like the way how you did it in this application. So I want to share everything and ask everything. So can you imagine a multi-level section access? Like having one or two administrators who can manage which section access can other administrators manage?
Yeah. We discussed this last week.
It may sound fun for us, but if you have like a company with thousands of Qlik users, I can imagine that this might be a requirement, right? So there will be an administrator for HR, administrator for finance, administrator for this space, and they shouldn't be allowed to manage section access for other applications outside of what they are responsible for.
Yeah, you're totally right. So in this case, we would have to do something maybe like this. I have the section access app right here. I would need to specify maybe the app name or the app ID as a reduction field. And after that, I will, from the user list, I would say, well, Maria can only change the app, and then I would need the name of the app. So maybe the planning app or something like that. And this would reduce the possibilities that you have in this app. So yeah, it is possible to do a multi-level. So the master admins would see everything, and they would control who sees what in the section access app using section access.
Yeah, finally I'll be enabled.
Yeah, very cool. So Guy, I'm conscious of the time. All right, so just in summary, without going through the load editor and stuff like that. So basically, if someone wants to use this app, they need obviously the section access app that we provide for them. And then they basically will be able to change certain things in the load script to make it work for them. They can then follow the instructions that you've given them there. They can then load all of the spaces, the apps, and so on into the section access app. And then you can then say, right, choose the application that you want to apply the section access to, choose the relevant fields within the app you want to apply it to, and then you can then look at the users and allocate the relevant access for those users to that app based on that field in that space, in that tenant. Have I got that right?
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
I was listening. That's good, right?
Just one observation is that the user needs admin access, so he or she needs to be able to create API keys in Qlik. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So here is my API key from my tenant and access to Infinity. So with our freemium option, if you don't have Infinity installed in your tenant, you can go with the freemium option. You'll have access to the same things. Then you can create here your instance, which will be your table, your token for that specific table, and the rest is basically plug and play because it's related to your tenant. Here we have some variables, and I think that's pretty much it.
Excellent.
Summarizes everything. And a big thanks to the technical team again, because I didn't know anything about all these variable things and all these functions. I learned everything with them. They are amazing. So how to automate all these things and get the APIs. So just a big thanks for them.
Yeah, we are very lucky, Guy. We've got an amazing technical team, and Maria keeps them in check really well. So we'll have a very strong
Will.
hand, Maria. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
will, I promise. And also to ensure it's crystal clear for the audience, this application has been developed and is supposed to be used in cloud. But if you want to build something similar on-prem, there also are Qlik native connectors that you can use to load the list of applications and list of users. Actually, there is one demo application at Infinity Universe that already have them included. But if you are interested, yeah, connect with one of us and we'll help you.
Fantastic. Guilherme, absolutely brilliant and fantastic. And
Yeah,
guys, just to let
great
you
job.
know, I set Guy a challenge to try and do something like this not very long ago. I think it was like less than a month ago or something crazy. And he's a busy guy. Obviously, he's working on all kinds of things for Infinity. And he really did this in his spare time. So Guilherme, great job, my friend. You did an amazing job. Really, really good. So as I mentioned,
I was impressed.
that's not an easy thing. Maria's hard to please, you know.
Let's go into that.
No,
really
cool.
great job, you. Yeah, thank you for doing that and also for sharing it with everyone.
So what we're going to do is put, as I said, the description. We'll put a link in the description of this webinar to how you can get hold of the application. We are also going to include a link to where you can get a freemium trial from us. And actually, I've decided I'm also going to include a link, Maria, to the video that you've got on our YouTube channel about how you get started with Infinity, both on cloud and on-prem. Because I think for anyone that doesn't use Infinity now, this could be a great way to get started. Free licenses, access to get up and running. And of course, if you need to talk to anyone, then you can come and talk to us directly, and we would be delighted to help you. So before we wrap up, there's a few things that we want to mention, right, Maria? So the first thing is we mentioned the get app link. Tick, that's on my list of things I needed to check with. Now, next one, our next webinar will be what we call our bells and whistles webinar. We're going to run it in maybe the middle of January. Let everyone get Christmas and New Year out of the way. And the bells and whistles webinar is like a summary of everything that we've delivered in like the last 6 months. We do them twice a year. And it will show you all of the key things that we've released in the previous 6 months, because we do monthly releases, which is great. We'll give a little bit
for 3 hours or so.
There's a lot to cover, I must admit. We'll have to keep it quite concise, Maria, but that's
I'll do my best.
We can do that. And we're then going to do a little bit of a sneak peek into what's coming in the roadmap. It's being finalized as we speak, but by hopefully the middle of January, we'll have done that and we can give a sneak peek to what's coming. Just to let you know, we've had not lots of meetings about our roadmap, because Maria, how long is our ideas list from our customers?
297 feature requests.
297 feature requests. So as you can see, we've got a huge roadmap of things that we want to do. We can't do everything, so we do prioritize what we can do. So that's coming. And finally, the last message from us is we will, of course, be sponsoring Qlik Connect in Orlando again in April. Mark your calendars, guys. April, I think the 13th to the 15th. If I remember correctly, because 13th is my daughter's birthday. So yeah, we will be sponsoring Qlik Connect again in Orlando. And it just leaves me to say thank you to Guy, thank you, Maria, for joining the webinar. And we want to wish everyone a very happy festive New Year, happy festive season and New Year, however you celebrate it. Have a great time, and we look forward to seeing you all again in the new year. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.